Hello book besties, welcome back. Today's video we're going to be deep diving into journaling. And what I mean by that is we're going to be talking about some of the benefits that I found as I've been journaling. I've already been journaling for a couple of years. I wanted to talk about more on why I keep it up, why I keep doing it, and why I love it so much, and potentially why it could benefit you. Obviously, I'm not like a therapist, psychologist, like none of that. Like, I have no. You've probably seen, if you've seen other videos that I've posted, I've talked about the different types of journals that I use, and I have a lot of them. I have a problem at this point. I don't consider it a problem, but I have a lot of journals, and I keep buying journals because I just love them so much. Now, there is an aspect of it, which is the superficial thing about it, which is just aesthetics. I'm gonna talk about this first just so we can get it out of the way. I love how a good journal looks. I love a good notebook. I love how beautiful they can be. I love the experience of just writing in one. Just as an aesthetic thing, when I look at them, it makes me really happy. That's the best way I can explain it. Now, obviously, that is not the main reason or the only reason I journal. There's a lot that goes into it and a lot of reasons why I love to grab a notebook and empty my thoughts. Now, to go over the few journals that I use, and of course, I'm gonna go more in depth as the video progresses. Let me move some stuff here because I have so much stuff in the way. But currently, you guys probably know that I have these that my friend made for me that have a couple inserts in them. I have this year's junk journal. I have my daily pages journal, and then I have my bullet journal. I'm not gonna go into all of them. I'm just gonna talk to you about the main ones, and we're gonna go from there. Okay, anyway, so the most important journal that I have at the moment is this one. And this is actually how I started journaling consistently. Now, I've always had some sort of diary, some sort of notebook with me, but I had this issue that I'm pretty sure a lot of you also have had or are still having, keeping up with the freaking journal, staying consistent, and finishing the notebook in the first place. And there's a lot of ideas out there on how and what kind of use to give to those journals. And I could go on and on and on and on about that, but you can definitely search up like what to do with journals, how to use empty notebooks, etc., etc. Now, why did this work for me and what is it? So the journal that actually worked for me to keep me consistent was my morning pages, but technically it's just brain dumping journal. And that's because it's the lowest pressure journal that I have. When you want to journal, but you find it difficult because it feels like a task, you need to take a step back. And that's what I did. I was trying to do art journals. I was trying to do reading journals. I was trying to do, you name it, journal. I don't know, a lot of different types. And I couldn't keep up with them. I would start a planner even. And I just couldn't get myself to use them. I would start very pumped. The first couple days, it would be like, oh, like I'm using my journal, my planner, this and that. And I would forget about it by the end of the week and then not touch it. And then when I remembered, I would be like, wow, I haven't touched this thing in a month. And now it feels like I failed. And then I would just shove it away and not use it again. And I think the biggest issue that I had was this idea that I had to be perfect with it. I had to be consistent to the point that I could not miss a single day until I finished it. And that kept me stuck for years. That kept me away from planners and journals to a point that I stopped using them for the better part of my 20s. And then later on in my 20s, I realized it doesn't have to be that way. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to create systems for my journals that are low pressure and then build my way up to maybe use something that's more structured. Now, the least structured, I'm gonna tell you about them like that. I'm gonna go from least to most structured journal that I use. So like I said, my pages here, this is where I dump feelings, thoughts, ideas, intrusive thoughts. I don't know, like anything that is driving me insane, especially when something is driving me insane, it goes in here. This is a journal for my eyes only. This is a journal for me to have a safe space that I can empty my thoughts. Because thoughts and emotions, there's certain thoughts and emotions that are temporary or are a reaction to something or are something that you need to work through in order to heal. And they don't define you as a person, and they don't define your relationship with someone else or with something else. And sometimes, at least in my opinion, we voice certain things that we feel in the moment, but it's just frustration or it's just a temporary feeling of any kind. And then you let it out and it's like, I don't actually feel that deeply about this thing, or I don't actually mean that thing. And so sometimes you need a place to put those thoughts that allow you to continue moving forward without that thing defining you and without it taking up so much space in your head. And then on the opposite end of that, we have moments that you want to remember. Sometimes you have like really happy things happen, you have a lot of progress made on something, you have a big accomplishment, or I don't know, like very positive things. You put them in here, like any thought, good or bad, anything that's clouding your brain or anything that you want to remember, you put in here because we are human. Okay, let's not act like we are not human. We are all human, and we all will have different kinds of thoughts at different moments in our lives. And we're gonna have reactions, and we're going to have feelings, and we're gonna have, you name it, crazy shit come to our head. So we need to remember that we are human. And sometimes we judge each other, and this is no particular situation, but I just mean in general. Like sometimes we judge each other for what we say or how we say it or how we feel about something or how we handle a situation. When when we look inside, we look back into ourselves, we realize that we also have moments like that. And so it's important to work through those feelings so that we actually know also how to address things when it comes to other people. Like be kind, be understanding. And there's just certain things that sometimes you just don't have to say it. Sometimes you can save a relationship with someone if you deposit that momentary feeling into something like this rather than spitting it all out and then having to take it back because you realize, wow, I didn't actually feel this way, or I felt it in the moment but I don't feel it anymore, and I have hurt this person just because I said something that I shouldn't have said. So getting that ownership of our feelings and getting that ownership of what we say and being responsible with what we say and how we treat other people, journaling is a great way to handle those things. And of course, what everyone talks about, getting to know yourself, working through feelings, like etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of benefits of doing that. But for me, it's a very important safe space that I can feel and think and process without having to bring in or like let out, I guess, things so much. Now, obviously, this is not going to replace professional help. There are certain situations that you might need help with, and that's fine. And obviously it's not gonna replace your like relationship with your friends or family that you might be super close to and you might vent and talk about certain things with them. It's just like a side note. It's like a safe space just for yourself where you can just be. And this is just for your eyes. And if someone has something like this, don't go looking in it because it's not yours. It's their safe space. And so we have to respect when someone has something like this because it's theirs. It's their safe space. It's where they say what they need to say and just let it go. That's the best way I can put it. it started just at something for me to be like an exercise to do every morning to get into the habit of writing. But then it turned into a really, really safe space. And it's, it's kept me going because I gave myself an example. I gave myself evidence. And this was said to me by someone like a couple years ago. Sometimes you need to give yourself evidence that you are capable of doing something. And I started this very low effort journal without any rules, any restraints, any timelines, any deadlines, like anything like that. I grab it when I grab it, and that's it. I might grab it 2-3 times in one day. I might grab it once in a week, and that's fine. And the important thing is that I remember that it's there for when I need it. And I might have a really good streak of writing every day for a couple weeks, and then boom, something happens. But just giving myself the permission to come back to it and just continue as if no time had passed, even if it's been 1, 2, 3 months or whatever time. That's very important. And that's what makes this work, because inevitably life is going to get in the way. We're going to forget about it, or, like anything can happen and get in the way of us being able to keep it up every day. And that's okay. That's the point of it. It's okay to take time away from it, even on purpose. Like, even if you need to take time away from it on purpose, that's okay too. So having something like this where you can just vent and say what you need to say, but without the obligation of having to do it every day, it works great. I definitely recommend this being the starting point for someone who says, I cannot keep up with a journal. Because that's the point of it. You don't need to be perfect with it. And you're going to see that every other journal that I have, I've given myself that rule. I don't have to be perfect with it. And I put them or like create them in a way that I don't necessarily have to. So the next journal that I have, and you've probably seen this also in another video, this is this year's junk journal. There's a lot of debate between what junk journaling actually is, what scrapbooking is, and how they're the same or not the same. And we're not going to get into that debate right now. I'm going to tell you what it is for me. For me, junk journaling is collecting junk from the world and putting it into a journal and making it pretty with stationery stuff. That's that. I created, for example, this first page using cutouts from an old National Geographic magazine. And I think these are stickers. Like, the numbers are stickers. And then everything else is cutouts from a National Geographic thing. And then I've put like stuff from my New York trip that I had a couple months ago. And you're gonna see that my other junk journals have like pictures and like receipts, and all that kind of stuff. So to me, that is the definition of a junk journal. However, sometimes I make pages like this and there's no junk in them. It's just pretty stickers and papers and stuff that I find. And that's fine too. You know why? Because when you create a junk journal or any kind of journal, it's yours. And you do whatever the heck you want to do. And that is the point that I want to bring with these. This is also another example of not needing to be so strict with it. Like, my first couple entries are from my trip in January. After that, I don't have another entry until February when I had another trip. And then I think after February, I don't have another entry until like last week. So it's okay if you don't finish it. It's okay if it's a junk journal that expands multiple years. It's okay if you finish it in 1 month. It's okay however you do it. It's okay if it's only junk. It's okay if it's only pretty stuff. It's okay if it's a combo of both things. And you call it whatever you want to call it. Now, for me, like I said, in order for it to be a junk journal, it has to have junk in it. But sometimes you need a place to be creative. And that's also the beauty of this. Now, for me, a junk journal is a lot of memory keeping and a motivation for me to create more memories. And so when I am working on my junk journal, I try to gather things that either have been part of something that I already did, or are going to result in me doing something fun, for example. And this is a sneak peek that I'm giving you, but I made a list yesterday of my bucket list for the summer, and I made pages for my junk journal that I'm going to be filling in with pictures of me doing those things. And so what I did is I went into Pinterest and I found inspo pictures. And I don't know if you've seen the post of the inspiration versus the actual picture of me doing it, and that's what I wanted to do. So for example, I made this page of summer reading, and this is a picture from Pinterest, which, by the way, whoever took this picture, kudos to you, because that's an amazing picture. So this is the inspiration from Pinterest. And then around here, whenever I go out and I read in public, I'm going to put a picture, maybe not in the same pose, but just like a picture that represents me reading in the summer. And so I already made the pages because I was feeling particularly creative yesterday and I wanted something to put in my junk journal, but they're not finished, and that's okay. And I might not get to them and not put the pictures in, but it's fine because it still did its job, which was giving me an outlet to be creative, a place that I could just do something fun and something to pass the time, that it's not doom scrolling, which is also a big thing for me right now that I need to control. And so as you can see, I'm reusing a notebook that used to be like set for something else, and it's an actual sketchbook. Like, it's a sketchbook. It's not a like a pretty journal kind of thing. And so no structure, no rules, no deadlines, no I have to add something every week or I have to add something every month or whatever the heck rules one might think that need to be followed. But then again, if those rules allow you to do something else, then do it. Because for example, maybe you're like me. I spend so much time at home that I need to force myself almost to go out. Well, maybe you can challenge yourself and be like, I'm gonna add one new page every week of one new activity that I'm gonna do. If it's something that is helping you and it's motivating you to get out of the house and do something fun and create more memories, then by all means create the rule. But remember that you don't have to be perfect. If it's like something that ends up becoming too overwhelming or too difficult to do, then that's that, and that's okay. That is freaking okay. My gosh. So your journal, your rules, but if you don't put rules, even better, because it'll be easier for you to pick it up. Like, let's say I don't use it again until December this year. Who cares? I go and I grab it again and I do it. It is what it is. That's the point of this kind of journal. The third journal that I want to talk about, and this is probably going to be the last one that I'm going to talk about in this video, is my bullet journal. And that's this one that's like a little binder that I got from one of my subscribers, followers from Instagram and Threads and, social media. So what do I put in this one? Well, let me show you how it comes first. I think I might have shown it at some point in like a TikTok or something. But basically, this journal comes with pre-made pages, right? And it'll have something like this, like an empty calendar. These calendars I use for mood tracking. And that's actually been something really, really good for me. I want to say for the last year or so, maybe more. I started doing it in a bullet journal that I hand drew, and like I would do everything by hand. But now that I got this one already has the stuff. So what I do is I fill it up. I put like washi tape and all the stickers, and I have this sticker book that I got a really, really long time ago, and I haven't finished it, so I keep using it. I use that, and every day I put how I feel. And let's say for a week I didn't touch my journal. That's fine. When I come back to it, I try to remember more or less how I felt in each day, and I put the stickers in. And if I forget, well, I forget. I leave it blank. I haven't had that happen yet because I try to remember more or less how I felt, but I put, the stickers in. I also try to use these pages that have like titles on them. For example, the one that says create, I usually write what I did for content creation. So if I recorded a YouTube video, if I recorded a TikTok and Instagram, whatever the heck I did, I put it in those pages. And then I also have a weekly like log. So I'm gonna like show this really, really quickly just so that you can see the dynamic. But basically, I just make a week, like whatever layout I can make, and I write day by day something, a sentence or two, whatever, about what happened that day. It's like a small diary kind of thing. And I just put like the highlights, like the main things that happened that day. And at the end of the week, I have a whole thing and I write like week overview and how was this weekend. I write about it. And then sometimes I keep some smaller trackers. So for example, right now I'm tracking what books I've made progress in that week and what content I made. So I write like I made progress on this book and this book and this book, or I recorded for YouTube and I recorded for this and that and the other. So yes, I have two different places where I put it, because in the weekly like overview page, I have the specific thing that I did, and then on the other page that has like the create, that's where I go into detail. I recorded this video for this thing and I uploaded and da da da, and like, you know, the entire detail of that. Now this varies from month to month. It varies from year to year, because I've been doing this for I think 2 years now. And it really depends what I'm in the mood for. Like I have a couple other ones that I have tracked my library visits, and then it's like, when did I go to a library? What library did I go to? Did I bring books back? Or did I take books with me, and how many of each category? Like if I returned and then also checked out. And then like I would track that, or I would track how many pages I read of whatever book, or you know, it really depends what's happening in my life for me to decide what I'm going to be tracking. And sometimes I realize that I don't use a specific tracker for a while, so I just take it out and I replace it with something else, or just don't put anything in. It really depends on what's happening, and that's the beauty of it. Like I admire anyone who sits down in the beginning of the year or the end of the year for the next year, and they design their entire bullet journal. Those are amazing, beautiful, and I love them. But for me, that doesn't work, and that's okay. Like if something doesn't work for you, I think the important and the fun part of it is experimenting, so that you actually figure out what actually works for you. And so this is my first time actually keeping up and using something that is a little bit more structured. But as you saw, I am the one that creates what dates and what's happening in each page. It's not a fully structured planner. Still to this day, I haven't been able to keep up with an actual planner. However, now that I have gotten accustomed to the ones that are more like freeform, I feel like eventually I'll work my way up to using a preset planner. For now, that's not the case, and I might not try and use a planner anytime soon. I feel like I need to find the planner that actually works for me, so that's gonna take some time. But for now, I just really also enjoy the fact that I can decorate it. Like it's a fun art project for me as well. So there's also that. So with that said, point is, don't give yourself really strict rules. Get yourself out of the mindset that you don't do it because you can't, because that's just perfectionism talking. Like you don't need to be perfect with a journal, and you don't have to meet these aesthetic expectations, or you don't have to be this really, I don't know how to call it, but like you don't have to use big words or like be this like professional writer. Like no, write the way that you think, write the way that you talk. The point is that you're putting words onto paper. That's it. Like you don't have to be this poetic person and sound like a classic writer, whatever. I don't know. Like you just don't give yourself these high unrealistic expectations, because most of us out here, we don't meet those criteria. Like if you do, if you have like this really enormous talent for a type of art or whatever, kudos to you, that's awesome. But if you don't, that's also okay. You know, like let it be a place to be imperfect. I feel like that's the beauty of journaling. Let it be a place where you can be yourself without the pressure of anyone else, because at the end of the day, these are for you. You can share whatever you want, but these are for you. And if you go in and work on them without the thought that you're going to be sharing them and that this is just going to be for your eyes, that relieves so much pressure. Like, do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what the purpose of the journal is. It doesn't matter what journal you're doing. The sketching journal, the watercolor journal, the junk journal, the scrapbook, the diary, the whatever the heck journal, I don't know, the recipe journal, any kind of journal that you do, it's for you. At the end of the day, it's for you. And if you like it, that's what's important. If you want to share it, by all means, go and do it. But you don't have to. Not even to the person who lives with you, if you live with someone. Like, you don't even have to show it to your cat if you don't want to. You know, cats are nosy, but it's fine. But, you know, you get the point of it. It's for you. It's a safe space. And I don't know how else to say it, but I hope that helps. That journaling doesn't have to be this very professional, very difficult thing. It's really not. It's meant to just be a space for you to express yourself. That's it. That is it. A physical place for you to empty what's in here and relieve what's in here and put it somewhere else. Something else that will hold the weight for you of whatever you're carrying, you know? But anyway, that is today's rant about, it's not really a rant, but that's my point of view in terms of journaling. I really hope this motivates you to actually sit down and start a journal, any kind of journal, whatever speaks to you. And hey, if you need to make it a catch-all, make it a catch-all. If you need for a journal to be an everything journal, do it. You can have art and writing and ranting and stickers, I don't know, in the same journal. That's fine. You can use one journal for everything. That's cool. You know, let it be a reflection of what you want it to be, and let it be your space. Own it, because it's yours. So I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments what kind of journaling do you do, or what kind of journaling are you interested in doing. And of course, if there's any other kind of video that you want me to make, of course, also let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on my social media, Lixie et al. On Instagram and on TikTok. And with that, I'll catch you on the next one.